Hello friends, welcome back. This is Himanshu Verma. Till now we have studied how to mark a normalized impedance in the Smith chart. As we know, a Smith chart contains a number of constant R and constant X circles. But for understanding purpose, we draw Smith chart by hands, and in that we draw only a few important circles. For example, circle for R is equal to 0, which is a unit circle, a circle for R is equal to 1, and a dot point circle for R is equal to infinite. Similarly, we draw circles for some values of X. For example, a dot point circle for X is equal to plus minus infinity. These two circles, this is for X is equal to plus 1 and this is for X is equal to minus 1, and this line, that is U-axis line, for X is equal to 0. In simple words, we can say we draw constant R circles for R is equal to 0, 1 and infinite, and we draw constant X circles for mode of X is equal to 0, 1 and infinite. These are some important circles on a Smith chart. Now for practice purpose, we will mark some normalized impedance in this Smith chart. Suppose first normalized impedance is 0.8 plus j 0.2. As small r value is 0.8, so that circle would be in between these two circles, that is R is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So this region will contain R is equal to 0.8 circle. As X is equal to 0.2, so 0.2 circle would be in this region, that is in between X is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1 circle. So roughly we can mark that point somewhere here. Now suppose ZL bar is equal to 100 plus J 200. So for this, R circle will lie in between R is equal to 1 and R is equal to infinite circles, and X circle will lie between X is equal to 1 and X is equal to infinite circle. So the point will lie somewhere here. If normalized impedance is 100 minus J1, then constant 100 circle is passing from here and constant minus 1 circle is this. So the point will lie somewhere here. In this way, we can roughly mark any normalized load impedance in the Smith chart. Obviously, this marking is not exact marking. This is a rough estimated marking. After learning this, now we mark some important normalized load impedances in the Smith chart. Those important normalized load impedances are ZL bar is equal to 0 plus J0. 0 plus J0 means both R and X are 0. So this is short circuit condition, or we can say short circuit load. To mark this, first we find R is equal to 0 circle. This unit circle is correspond to R is equal to 0. Now we find X is equal to 0 circle. This line from here to here is correspond to X is equal to 0. So the unique intersection point is this point. So this point is correspond to short circuit load. Now next important load is infinity plus J infinity. This is open circuit load, where R is equal to infinity and X is equal to infinity. To mark this, first we find R is equal to infinity circle, and that circle is a point at minus 1, 0. If we find X is equal to infinity, the same point is correspond to X is equal to infinity. So this is open circuit point. Infinity minus J infinity is also a open circuit condition, and same point represent infinity minus J infinity, because this point is correspond to X is equal to minus infinity also. What about infinity plus J0? This is also a open circuit condition. R is equal to infinity means this point, and X is equal to 0 means this line, and this point and this line is intersect at this point only. So this point is correspond to infinity plus J0 also. Or we can say these three conditions are for open circuit condition. So this point minus 1, 0 represent open circuit condition, and plus 1, 0 represents short circuit condition. Now third important normalized load impedance is ZL bar is equal to 1 plus J0. Normalized load impedance 1 plus J0 means load impedance is equal to Z0, that is characteristic impedance. We know if load impedance is equal to characteristic impedance, then this is a condition for perfect match, and for this reflection coefficient is always 0. We try to mark this load in the Smith chart. Here R is equal to 1 and X is equal to 0. R is equal to 1 means this circle, and X is equal to 0 means this line. So intersection point is this. So this point is correspond to ZL bar is equal to 1 plus J0, or load impedance is equal to characteristic impedance. So this point can be marked as matched load, that is ZL is equal to Z0. So 3 points we have marked. This point is correspond to short circuit load, this point is correspond to open circuit load, and this point is correspond to matched load. We can mark these 2 points also. This point is intersection of R is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1 circle. Means this point is 0 plus J1 and this point is 0 minus J1. In absolute load impedance, this point is ZL is equal to JZ naught and this point is ZL is equal to minus JZ naught. Now after getting this much knowledge, next question is how to find reflection coefficient at load end. Suppose load is short circuit. So correspond to short circuit load, normalized impedance is marked here. That is this point is correspond to short circuit load. If we want to find reflection coefficient correspond to short circuit load, then just read the graph for this point. Because horizontal axis of this graph is correspond to real part of reflection coefficient, that is U, and vertical axis is correspond to imaginary part of reflection coefficient, that is V. So direct reading for this point provide us value of reflection coefficient at load end gamma L. So for this point we can write gamma L is equal to minus 1 plus 0j. In general form, we have assumed gamma L is equal to U plus JV. So U value is minus 1 and V value is 0. That's why gamma L is equal to minus 1 plus J0. If we want to write in magnitude and angle form, then magnitude for this is 1 and angle is 180 degree. If we observe open circuit point, then for this point we can write gamma L is equal to 1 plus 0j because U value is 1 and V value is 0. We can also write magnitude as 1 and angle as 0 degree. For calculating angle, just connect that point with origin and find the angle of that vector with horizontal axis. If we observe this point where ZL is equal to JZ naught or normalized load impedance is equal to J, for this case gamma L is equal to 0 plus 1j because for this point U value is 0 and V value is 1. In magnitude and angle form, just connect origin with this point and magnitude is 1 and angle is 90 degree. For this point we can also write gamma L which will be equal to 0 minus 1j. In magnitude form, magnitude is 1 and angle will be 270 degree or minus 90 degree. If we want to calculate gamma L for normalized load impedance 0.8 plus J 0.2, as we have already marked this normalized load impedance here, if we want to write gamma L for this point, then read value of U for this point and value of V for this point. As we do not have here exact Smith chart and marking is not done on horizontal axis, that's why we can't tell exact value. But suppose we have had real Smith chart, then it's very easy to read the parameter U and V for this point. If we want to write gamma L in magnitude angle form, then just draw a vector from origin connecting this point. Now length of this vector is the magnitude of reflection coefficient and angle of this vector from horizontal axis, suppose it is theta L, is the angle for reflection coefficient. Suppose vector length is mod of gamma L. Therefore, for this point, we can write gamma L is equal to mod of gamma L angle theta L. In this way, we can write reflection coefficient for all normalized load impedance in the Smith chart. We just need to read the graph correspond to that normalized load impedance. One thing is very much clear from here. If the point is located near the origin, it means reflection coefficient value is less. And as the point moves away from the origin, then reflection coefficient value increases. So where the reflection coefficient will be 0? Obviously at center point. And we already know center point is marked correspond to load impedance Z naught. That is normalized load impedance 1. So in this way, we have learned how to find reflection coefficient at load end, that is gamma L. Next question arises, what should we do if we want to calculate reflection coefficient at any location small l from the load end? For this, as we know, gamma at any location small l is equal to gamma at load end into e power minus j2 beta L. It means for a distance small l, the phase is changed by minus 2 beta L and magnitude remains same what was at load end. Therefore, at any other location, only phase will change. Magnitude will be mod of gamma L only. Suppose normalized load impedance is 0.8 plus J 0.2, that is this point. Now if we read graph for this point, then we get reflection coefficient at load end. But suppose now we want to find reflection coefficient at any location small l from the load end. So for this, we need a rotation of 2 beta L in clockwise direction. Why clockwise? Because it is minus 2 beta L. Minus sign indicates rotation is in clockwise direction. But during that rotation, we should take care one more thing. Magnitude should remain same. So that possible rotation is only if I draw a circle with this magnitude. Because if I rotate on this circle, then magnitude will remain mode of gamma L, but angle will change. For this normalized load impedance, angle was theta L. Suppose we take a clockwise rotation of 2 beta L and this vector reach here. So we can draw this new vector where magnitude is still mode of gamma L, but now phase angle has become theta L minus 2 beta L. So this magnitude and this angle is correspond to reflection coefficient at any location small l from the load end. Now we analyze one more situation. As we have already calculated reflection coefficient for short circuit load. Now if we want to calculate reflection coefficient at any location small l from the short circuit load, then we just need to draw a circle with center origin and radius this. So that circle is this unit circle, which is correspond to r is equal to 0. Now if we move on this circle in clockwise direction, then after a rotation of 180 degree, we reach at open circuit load. Now next question arises, how much distance provides us an angle of 180 degree? So for this, we can equate 2 beta L is equal to 180 degree. 180 degree means pi. So 2 beta L is equal to pi. Beta can be replaced by 2 pi upon lambda. So pi and pi cancel out. And from here L is equal to lambda by 4. So according to this, we can say in general way, a short circuit load converts into an open circuit load after a movement of lambda by 4 on transmission line. Also, if load is open circuit, then a movement of lambda by 4 converts it in short circuit load. And this is very much true from our basic knowledge also. As we know, lambda by 4 distance movement is known as normalized impedance inverter. Therefore, short circuit load means ZL bar is equal to 0, and after a movement of lambda by 4, it becomes inverse of 0, that is 1 by 0, which is equal to infinite, that is open circuit load, and vice versa. So here we can make one more comment also. This half circle perimeter length is lambda by 4. And this half circle perimeter length is lambda by 4. So the length of unit circle is equal to lambda by 4 plus lambda by 4, that is lambda by 2. So friends, in this lecture, we have learned how to find reflection coefficient at load or at any other location from the load. We stop here. In the next video, we will learn how to find input impedance and VSWR for a transmission line. Please like and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.